Hey everyone, Hal here. Just want to take a minute to talk about the Woodman Arms Muzzleloader. We got them all set on the website to build your own and or buy your Big Woods Bucks model. Either one you want to do. But anyways, we've tested it a lot, and I can honestly say it's the most accurate muzzleloader on the market. Best to carry in the big woods or anywhere else at 5.5 pounds. You can't go wrong with it. So get on there and check it out.
This is the Big Woods Bucks Podcast. Come explore the big woods and timber in North America with your host, Maine Master Guide and deer tracking expert Hal Blood. Listen to Hal and co-hosts Lee Libby and Joe Cruzy as they unlock the secrets of big woods whitetails. Each episode will provide valuable insights into the tried and true system Hal has used for the last 40 years to scout, locate, and hunt mature big woods bucks. Listen and laugh as the crew discusses Hal's legendary adventures and learn how to apply a lifetime's worth of lessons from the big woods to your own hunting and outdoor adventures.
Welcome to the Big Woods Bucks Podcast. I had to say that loud because Lee was asleep.
Like usual, just like the last podcast.
I'm your host, Hal Blood, and sitting here with me is Lee Libby.
Hey, what's
you awake?
going on?
You awake, Lee?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Lee just got woke up. And Joe Cruzy,
Hello.
my two cohorts. So anyways, we're well into winter now. Been a good one for the deer. Bad one for the snowmobilers so far.
Well, yeah, this
better.
this is 3 weeks from now, so maybe it's going to be deep snow and the deer are going to be struggling.
Yeah, and you're going to be in deep snow.
I shouldn't date this podcast, should I?
No.
All right, well, I did.
All right. Well,
So, what are we talking about today?
Well, we kind of discussed something on the way over here to Rangeley here. We're sitting here in Lee's plush office, his furniture store.
He's running across the room like a girl.
Yeah. So we're talking a little bit about, been kind of a topic lately. It comes up every year, Sunday hunting.
Sunday hunting.
Sunday.
We like digging into the controversial subjects.
Yeah. No, we don't need no hate mail out of this one either. So
Yeah, this is just our opinion.
So Maine is one of 4 states left in the United States that doesn't have Sunday hunting. It's an old blue law. It's all the eastern states, I think back from when the Pilgrims come over probably, but, it was a Sabbath on Sunday and there's just some things they didn't do.
Did they have seasons when the Pilgrims came?
No, but they had blue laws. That's what they call the blue laws, would be the laws that were the original laws when they first settled over here. They didn't really, most of the laws really, they created themselves. I mean, because back where they came from, most of them from England in the beginning, the laws were set up by the monarchy. The king was basically it.
The king.
The king created the
governor.
laws and punishment of them. So anyway, they set up their own
I want to be a king.
structure, You are the king of Rangeley.
I want to make laws.
The king
I
of-
want my winches.
He just wants to use an English accent.
Yeah. I think he was dreaming there before he got woke up.
You need to practice for your Australian guests so you
Yeah.
can speak the native tongue.
What's our podcast topic, anyways? Oh, Sunday hunting.
Yeah, wake up, Lee.
So,
I think it should be controversial subject or something like that because I think there's a couple other things we can talk about that everyone loves to throw around
Yeah.
well,
law-wise.
I live in Rangeley because of the Sunday hunting in New Hampshire because I'm 30 miles away. So I just run over there on Sundays. It's really one of the bigger reasons I moved here.
Is that right?
Absolutely. I mean, I love the area anyways. I knew I was going to live here eventually, but that Sunday hunting for me is that's one more day that I can get if the snow conditions are marginal or whatever. But
Yeah.
Well,
you need all the extra help you can get anyway.
ain't no shit, huh?
so I see all this stuff. I started thinking about this. There's a Facebook page for it, and every year the topic comes up, and I get both sides of the argument for sure. And so my view on it's changed over the years, where
You've evolved.
evolved. Yeah. No, if you call me a progressive, Hal, we're going to be
progressed.
We're going to be scrapping right here in Lee's showroom.
I didn't say you progressed. I said you evolved.
I was going to say I'll throw you on that bed, but that wouldn't sound good either. Lee's got a whole bedroom set up here in the showroom. Nice stuff, too, by the way.
Thank you.
Really nice. If you want some nice log furniture or really unique pieces.
We didn't even build you a new kitchen.
Come by.
New kitchen shop is something I never really thought I wanted to do, but anyways.
Maine Mountain Millworks.
Yep.
So
what was the subject?
So
oh yeah.
So I used to be one of these guys that was really in favor of Sunday hunting because, there's a good argument for it. For the guys that just, their jobs don't allow them to hunt during the week at all. And if that's the case, you get 5 days that you can hunt every season. And that's not a whole lot if you're an avid hunter. And the reason that I've changed my view on it is there's two reasons. One reason is on the business end of it. When you have sports coming in and out, that Sunday turnover day, it just makes it easy. Having that as your coming and going day and knowing that there's no hunting and no one's, it's just, you don't worry about it. The other reason is because I would probably be out there every Sunday and I would be wore out.
So now
it's a forced day of rest.
Yeah, you wouldn't be having your Sabbath with your family.
That's the reason for it, right? So that's a unique situation, I understand, because we're fortunate in that we hunt a lot in the fall because it's not only our recreation, but it's work. So for us, we get enough of it. So I'm selfishly saying this. I totally get why people would want to see Sunday hunting, but in Hal and I's discussion over here, which he's going to point out here, there's some real good reasons why we don't change the law.
Well, my opinion is this. We all want things in life that benefit us. So you went from, I wanted that extra day of hunting to, I don't want that extra day of hunting because I have a business now and I want that day off. And that's fine.
I told you it was selfish.
Yeah. Oh, no. Everything in the world is selfish, right? For anybody that thinks that the reason they believe something is not for some personal reason, and that's foolish. But what's the economic study and what does it do for the overall economy of the state of Maine? Because if my opinion is I do want it or I don't want it, but it's going to benefit the overall state and the health of the economy, I'm for it. You see?
I would agree with that. And I would wholeheartedly go along with it and take that argument. However, Hal brought up something that was...
There's a couple of things. The issues are, with deer hunters, we talk mostly about deer hunting. We like to do other things, but if you separate out the deer hunting from the hunting the rest of the year, then the issue can kind of change a little bit. Because like if you get into small game hunting, like you can rabbit hunt for 6 months of the year. Well, you say, well, why would you need Sunday too if you can hunt for 6 days? But your point about the economics of it, Lee, is Sunday hunting would benefit Maine economically because we lose a lot of hunters to New Hampshire for small game. They'll go there and rabbit hunt and bird hunt because they can't come here for a weekend. They're not going to come here and get lodging and stuff to hunt on a Saturday. They may take a Friday and have Friday and Saturday, but they can go to New Hampshire. They got to pass through New Hampshire to get here, right. Most of them. So, yeah, there's an economic benefit, I think a big economic benefit to having it. But then when we get into the deer season is set up around how much hunting pressure the deer can take in the season. So we're fortunate to have 4 weeks of rifle and 2 weeks of muzzleloader down south and a week up north in a whole month of archery hunting. That's pretty liberal season. If you look at most of the states, especially in the Midwest and stuff like that, they have a week or a 10-day season or something for rifle, and they might have another week for bow or muzzleloader, whatever it is. So if you take and add 4 Sundays to the season, it would actually be 6 if you counted the muzzleloader ones. That's an extra week's worth of days. The trade-off might be is they cut a week off the hunting season. So you got to weigh that in. If they feel it's the right amount of hunting pressure, and is it or isn't it? There's no question there'd be a lot more deer shot on the weekends on Sundays.
No question.
Because more people would be out there. So are the deer, the biologists going to figure, well, we don't want that many deer shot, so they're going to shorten the season for a week.
That's fine. They can have that first week.
Well, no, you say that, but it's just something else to think about.
Right. No, that's a good point. But I guess I look at it like, what about the guy in mid-Maine that has his son or daughters? He works 5 days a week. They go to school 5 days a week, and with all the sports and crap, and what if he wants to rabbit hunt for 2 days or go
100%.
to camp? What's the chance they're going to run up to camp for 1 day of hunting?
Yeah.
That's a great point. And the reason why it's such a contentious argument.
Right. And they've tried that. They've tried for years and years to get it passed here, but the reason it always gets shot down here in Maine, I don't know about the other 3 states, but here in Maine is because most of the land is in private ownership. Right. And the private landowners will threaten to post all their land if it goes through. So guess what? It always gets backed off because it's great if you get Sunday hunting, you pass a law, you can hunt on Sunday, and then from the central Maine through the southern Maine, if all the land's posted, you ain't going hunting anyway. Right. Because you're hunting on someone else's land and people threaten to post it. So that's kind of a reality of it, So anyway.
And the other, there's been ideas thrown out that, well, you should be able to hunt your own property on Sunday. I agree.
Yeah.
If anything, maybe they say it's just a landowner thing. So if you want to hunt your own land, you get to hunt. Hal brought up a point, if it was just unorganized territories, then landowners wouldn't really be saying anything because it's more central and southern Maine that have that argument. However, after discussing that, it would push everyone that's on the fringe up north on Sundays, and it would certainly put pressure on areas now that don't have it.
Right, but who's going to run from Augusta to
a lot?
They're coming here to hunt.
To hunt a
here.
Sunday. To here.
You got unorganized territories around here.
Right.
So a lot of the people in an hour's drive from an unorganized territory, it'll put way extra amount of pressure on it. So it's all the little things we can talk about, but should be brought up. Anytime you're trying to change something that's been the way it has for so many years, these laws, you can't just say, oh, yeah, it sounds great, let's do it. There's a lot of issues that surround the whole thing.
I mean, if they just, which I don't think it would ever happen this way, but let's say they got this movement and they said, all right, now Sundays during deer season are now open, so they got 5 extra days up north and 6 extra days down south. That would be a huge difference in the deer killed.
Yeah.
Huge difference in the number. They would have to adjust it because it would throw their goals right out of whack, I think.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then if you talk about dropping a weekly, you said, well, you can give up the first week. Well, guess what? That pushes everybody else that used to hunt the first week into the other week, so you got more hunting pressure.
We can't get much more hunting pressure.
You're wrong there.
Yeah.
You got to come here and see some pressure.
Yeah, you can have them.
When them guys start running them roads at 3:30 in the morning looking for a buck track, then
I know
what's next. What are we going to put a gate up that says admission after 5 only? You know what I mean? It is what it is.
That's the craziest thing. I can't
it's a reality here.
I know, but I can't relate to it. I get up in the morning and I just want to be where I'm going at daylight. I don't think about getting up at 4 in the morning looking for a track in the road. I don't know. I don't get that mentality.
Well, I don't get if I see a track at 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning and I can't get on it till 6:30 or 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How far is that deer? What time was it made? Was it made 6 hours prior to that? So now you're 9 hours, 10 hours behind the deer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Get real.
Well, then again, you're sitting on that track waiting 3 hours to get daylight. Meanwhile, 3 other bucks have crossed the road.
Right, a mile in front of you.
Yeah, or a mile behind you,
right.
and then 3 hours.
Yeah.
I don't get the mentality of it. No. But
let them go.
Yeah. There's a few of them, I guess,
I like the enthusiasm.
Yeah, I'm sure they do it over around Jackman, too, but I don't see them because I ain't out there doing it,
No, I hear it all the time. I've been on the road since 3:30. Good for you. I bet noontime you're going to be looking for a nap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I would be interested. I'm sure we usually get feedback on topics like this. So I'd be interested to hear feedback from people. But
I honestly
every year we see it.
Doesn't. That's why I live here, so I have it. You know what I mean? I have that Sunday hunting as an option, but I guess
I see
actually, both sides of it.
Yeah, so I outfitted pretty much my whole life too, and it was our turnover day. You know, we needed Sunday to turn the hunters over for the next week. We'd have to hunt a 6-day hunt anyway. We wouldn't have had a 7-day hunt.
Right.
It's impossible. So it'd be a day we wouldn't be hunting anyway. But I can see it for small game, especially because, like I said, economically, like we talked about, we lose so much to the other states that have Sunday hunting for that small game. And
bird hunting. Bird hunting.
It would be
good,
fun to bird hunt on Sunday.
Yeah.
It would give people something to do that are up at camp and
rabbit hunt, coyote hunt. You know, I mean, geez, it'd be nice to be able to coyote hunt on the weekends. You know, throughout the winter. You know.
Yep. There should never be any law against killing a coyote day, night, by pickup truck. Skidder. Anything,
so
kill it.
I had to go over to Monson yesterday, and I've always got a rifle in the truck, especially this time of year for coyotes. And I usually see, through the course of the winter, 5 or 6 there traveling back and forth all the time. Haven't seen one yet this year until I'm right in Monson, and there's a body of water there, the river there, froze over, and this big coyote's walking across in broad daylight right next to the road. And I mean, I guess I could have shot, but there's houses there and stuff. And so I watched him walk away. It's painful.
He probably knows it. That's why he's walking there.
I'm sure. Absolutely. But
they should go back to snaring them.
Oh, we can't do none of that because of the lynx. You know, they can't even. I didn't realize this until the fella from town, I asked him if he wanted to trap coyotes up in the gore, you know, to get some of them coyotes, because those coyotes all go to Canada, follow them deer to Canada. Yeah. So they're not the ones that come towards town where we can hunt them. So he's been up there last couple of years trapping coyotes up there, but he told me, he said he's only got, I can't remember how many traps, not a lot. And I'm like, well, how come? I know he's been trapping his whole life. He says, I got 300 traps I can't use because they changed the law on the trap size. Yeah. I guess it's called you'd know, Lee, because you trap. You can't use the 3.5s anymore. Yeah. It's only a 3, and it don't hold a coyote as good. A lot of them get away because it don't hold them as good. But you got to go buy, just to catch coyotes, you're going to go buy another few hundred traps,
right.
You know.
That may not hold.
So they're not trapping coyotes as much as they used to.
I haven't trapped in a few years because of that link exclusion.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy too, you know. So now there's links everywhere, and you don't ever see a
and you can't tell. You call the state, and they're like, "Oh, where'd you see it? Are you sure? Did it have a tail?"
No, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, and now there's no bobcat. I think the
they
links
run them out.
Yeah, they've eaten all the rabbits, so the bobcats don't stand a chance.
I know there was a pair of them behind the alley here in town, and I told this story before, and they were in there for probably a month, 2 winters ago. And that was a place where you'd come through in a groomer at night and see a rabbit or 2 almost every night. And those 2 links stayed in there until there wasn't a rabbit track around. And then they moved on. Yeah. So they don't just pass through. They move in.
They move in till they get the rabbits, and they might travel 20 miles and find another patch of rabbits and hang out there.
The funny thing is that they have all these links exclusion traps, you know, and so it's affecting the catch. It's harder to get a fisher now.
Well, and not only that, but the fishers are catching all the females because the males are too big to get in the trap.
And the males are the one that kill the lynx. The big fishers, males kill the lynx.
Yeah,
so they're trying to save the lynx, and they're actually leaving the only predator for them.
Yeah, in the woods. Well, that's, you know.
And I mean, who knows if it's what had a difference, but I think we talked about it before. I think I saw 4 fishers this deer season, which that's the most I've ever seen.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of fur over that country, really. I saw some good fur this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
they don't know.
And they're trapping them right across the border, right?
There's a season on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They're laughing. They over in Quebec, they laugh about
perfect. More for them.
it. We're breeding lynx over here, and they step foot into Canada and they trap them.
Can have them.
Now, maybe one day there'll be so many of them they have to
Oh no!
slacken the rules.
Well, they already did. They've taken them off the endangered, so it's going to take a few years for Maine to get. It's the whole thing has to settle out before they can do their own management. It's something to do with that endangered species, but they pretty much got them off of that now, and they're in.
I enjoyed trapping when I did it. I really enjoyed it. That's a way to get in the woods on a Sunday, and it was fun.
Probably anticipation of.
It's like
them.
anything, It's like deer hunting. Half of it's the anticipation, right? Snowmobile. Anything we do, getting ready for what we do is.
It's no different than coming around the corner and seeing an area tore up in the road, hoping there's a shed sitting there.
Yeah, right.
It's that treasure hunt.
Yeah.
But hey, we can shed hunt on Sundays and we can trap on Sundays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they weren't shed hunting back when the blue laws were made, huh?
They might have been making knife handles out of them.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's one thing I always think about when I was a kid, even up into my 20s, I never even thought about shed hunting. At that time, I always thought it was a needle in the haystack thing, and the guys that were doing it were just raking them in. I mean,
oh yeah,
they didn't even have to go out on a regular basis. They just go out before a big snowstorm and ride around and grab them all.
Yeah.
Nothing to it.
Francis Lissad's got a garage full of them.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. That's something to see.
He's making furniture now out of them, I guess.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, some, yeah. I don't think he ever sold one.
Yeah. Oh,
maybe
I can't even imagine
really
how many pounds he has. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He's got, he's also got, and this was a number of years ago, probably 6-7 years ago, that he had, I think 5 or 6 of years of the same deer. Both sides.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh, the one he feeds, ones he's feeding.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a pretty nice, pretty neat little collection he had. Had him on a board, lined up. But, he's got the biggest stock antlers. Pretty awesome. But,
so did we solve the Sunday hunting dilemma?
Well, I think we decided that we're never going to agree on it, I guess.
Oh, I don't. I mean, it doesn't. I see both sides of it.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go along with whatever they want to do. There's always going to be somebody's feelings that are hurt. But if you're not out for the better good of everybody, then you're just one of them people.
Well,
yeah,
I think that it's we all look at it on a personal level, and it should be for the good of everyone. But I think that for the good of everyone might be having it extended over a longer period of time.
Right.
I guess it's one of those things we'd never know unless we did it.
Right.
Like I said, I think if it's separated out into big game versus small game, I think it would be an easier sell. I mean, I know they've still tried it. They've tried it in the legislature almost every year in one form or another, but I think if they back it back down to like small game at least or something and start
I thought
there.
they tried that once.
They did one way back about 10 years ago. I think they had, but it was so limited it didn't even matter. They did it for 1 year. I think it was you could hunt small game in the North Maine woods. It might even have been certain townships or certain zones or something. It wasn't a big area, but it wasn't enough of an impact for anybody to really care,
Right.
Yeah, so they got
a small game thing would be a good start anyway.
I think it'd be fun. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
because that means on my way out of camp, I can shoot a bird on a Sunday.
Does the warden service look at it with a certain set of eyes and say it's going to be tougher for us because
but that
but they don't take Sundays off.
That shouldn't matter.
That shouldn't matter.
I know it shouldn't. I know it shouldn't. I'm just looking at it. Right now, you can't have a gun outside of a case if you're out in the woods. You're supposed to have it put away.
That would change that, which is fine. I mean,
maybe the
people
overall
that break
revenue
the laws are going to break them no matter what anyway.
Oh yeah. Maybe the overall revenue they'd be able to hire a few more wardens.
Yeah, that's
maybe.
Right. There'd be a lot more license sale revenue because I'm telling you, back when I was doing a lot of rabbit hunts, I lost lots of rabbit hunters over the years, and even bird hunters in the fall when they'd call up and and then they find out there's no Sunday hunting. They weren't coming. They were going to go find a place they could hunt the weekend. So you lost a lot of license sales, but
Well, no more rabbits left anyway. The lynx are killing them all.
No. There's rabbits.
Yeah. I actually found more rabbits this fall than I kept saying. There's no more rabbits around. You'd find a little pocket of them. But this fall deer hunting, I see quite a few.
I did too. I found like when you get into a pocket of them, there was a lot. There's tracks everywhere. Yep.
I see more pine marten this year than I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
I think 4 or 5. Yeah.
And lots of tracks. I mean, there's places, there's lots of them.
I had one 2 days ago fly across in front of me on the snowmobile trail, and I just expected there'd be a bobcat or a lynx behind it the way it was coming across there, but
The marten?
nothing. No,
Rabbit.
rabbit.
Rabbit? Oh, yeah.
He was just running for no reason, running scared when he came across that trail.
Yeah.
But he was flying solo.
Hey, Sal here. I want to talk to you about a new partnership we have with Yokohama Tires. And at Big Woods Bucks, we don't take our partnerships lightly. We focus on things that we can use and can believe in and trust. And I've been running a set of the Yokohama Geolander MTs for about a month now. And over the years, we've had a lot of trouble in the woods, with gravel roads, shale roads, and flat tires and stuff. And so I tried these tires out on a moose hunt, and they worked fabulous. I had no problems with them, and still testing them. But the thing I like, too, is I made a trip to New York, and they're for a mud tire, they're extremely quiet on the road. Probably the most quiet ones I've had for an aggressive tread tire. And so we're going to keep at testing them here, but I think they're going to be the ticket. I've used dozens of different tires over the years, and these look like they're going to be the ticket. So anyways, the tires are made right here in the USA, down in Virginia, all the light tires, light truck and car tires. There's like 51 sizes available, and they also have a Geolander XAT as a new tire that it's a little less aggressive, like more of an all-season radial. So anyways, check out their website, Yokohama Tire, and see if it's something you can use.
Hey guys, Joe here. Wanted to take a few minutes to talk about Lake Parlin Lodge. We're a 4-season lodge located just south of Jackman. We've got cabins, lodge rooms, mini lodge. We're a big snowmobile destination in the winter, full restaurant, bar, all the amenities that you need for your trip. Open obviously through the summer, right on the lake. Kayaks, canoes, all included with the cabin. We also do a lot of weddings, so if you're looking for a destination wedding, we can do a wedding up to 200 people. And, of course, we've got our hunting season, moose season, deer season. So check us out. We're at lakeparlinlodge.com. I guess we've talked about antler restrictions, so we don't need to talk about that controversial subject.
No. That's like Vermont now. You talk to some of them guys, and they all hated it, but they all say, well, we're getting some good bucks over there now.
Yeah. Depends who you talk to there, because I've talked to guys that they say all it's done is they're still killing there's still not any more big bucks, because they're still, instead of killing them when they're a yearling, they're killing them at 2.5 anyway.
Yeah.
And it's different. See, every state's different, because Vermont is so roaded up. You can hunt everywhere there. It isn't like there's places you can't get to where some of the old bucks can make it. There isn't a lot of that in Vermont, So
it all goes back to personal. Like, I mean, how many times have you seen a small buck jump up in front of you and you just looked at it and thought, geez, a couple of years that'll look pretty good? How many people flatten those things?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And for what reason? They're all out there. We're all out there looking for that big, mature whitetail.
But see, you're not...
But the first spike one they see, they kill it. And then all of a sudden, I was meat hunting.
Look,
no, you weren't.
You're going to call me out for being selfish. Now I'm going to call you out. There are a lot of guys that don't care about the antlers. All they want is the meat.
I think that's what they say.
No, I don't agree with that at all.
Who doesn't want big antlers on the wall? How many people do you know send a spike horn down to Dick's Taxidermy?
There are,
unless their wife or their kids shoot it. And I get that. Your first deer, why not mount it? But come on, I'm not going to mount a spike horn. I'm not even going to tell anybody I shot it.
Look, there's a lot of people, whether you want to believe so or not, that couldn't care less about those antlers. All they want is that meat. There's a lot of that.
Well, then
there.
Why wouldn't you want 200 pounds of meat versus 100 pounds of meat?
Well,
if you really care about
bird
the
in
meat.
the hand, Lee.
Bird in the hand.
Yeah.
Do you want a pigeon or do you want a turkey?
Look,
Put a bird in the hand, but which one do you want to eat?
No, I that's the reason I have changed my view on antler restrictions. Years ago, I thought it would be a good thing. I've evolved, and now I look at it. Not everyone is out there looking for a big set of antlers and passing deer up. They shoot the first thing they see, and that's meat in the freezer. And Lee Libby is not going to stop that with his antler restrictions.
No, and that's, I don't care what you shoot. I really don't. But you're not going to, you know what I mean? People whine and say, oh, there's no more big bucks around. We'll stop shooting the small ones, and you'll get some big ones around. So
my Thunder buddy Pat there from Pennsylvania, he said the antler restrictions.
Wait a minute now. Your what, buddy?
My Thunder buddy. Remember from the first week? We covered this before.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, I had no idea that it was referenced to the movie Ted.
Yeah, that's right.
I was spewing the joke and didn't get the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit slow sometimes.
Yeah.
So anyway, Pat. So anyway, Pat said that it's definitely had a positive effect on the antlers down there. I mean, they've seen a big difference, and it's a whole different game down there, though.
Oh yeah,
it's
a different.
The whole
state.
hunting down there it's insane from the way it's described. It's combat hunting, especially during the weekends.
See, a lot of people try to say, well, look, it worked in Minnesota, or it worked in Pennsylvania. So what? Great, good for them. Doesn't mean it's going to work here, because we got a totally different deal in most of those states as far as the amount of land that doesn't get hunted, that grows them bucks anyway. You know, if people want a big buck that bad, I always tell people, if you want to shoot a big buck over 200, you got to hunt where they're at. You hunt around southern Maine, around them woodlots and stuff, and they get them down there, but they're few and far between. You got to hunt where if you want big antlered deer, go hunt down there, because you're probably going to get more of them. But
I may have to disagree with you on that. The few and far between. It almost seems like there's more. I guess
not 200 pounders.
No, but rack. We're talking about rack size, right?
No, we're talking about a 200-pound buck. If you're hunting, I was saying if you're hunting, that's what Lee said. If you want 200 pounds of meat or 100, you got to hunt where they're at. That's it. The bottom line. You know. So if you want a big deer, hunt up north. If you want to just shoot meat, you can probably get that right around your neighborhood. You know.
Yeah, and the other part of that argument for the meat is they do give a lot of doe tags away.
Yeah.
You know, so if you really are just concerned with the meat,
put in for your doe tag.
Yeah.
Now they got some of the areas you can shoot 2 deer, you can shoot a doe if you get drawn in some of them, and then they have extra tags left over. So now they got it where you can shoot your buck and you can shoot a doe with your doe tag.
Yeah, I think it was the super pack, right?
I don't know how they get them, but
I forget. I did it a number of years ago, but yeah, and then of course they got the expanded archery and all that for someone that really. And there's a lot of guys killing some nice deer, number of deer.
Yeah.
My feeling is though, whatever people want to shoot, it's legal to shoot.
Shoot it.
That's their trophy. If it's a 4-pointer and that's a trophy to them, that's a trophy. That's good enough.
Absolutely.
And then it's up to them if they want to try to do better, get a bigger one the next year, But you got to start somewhere. If everybody's a trophy hunter, nobody's ever going to shoot a lot of deer, Got to start the kids off. They got to learn how to really kill something before they can work their way up, Don't make them pass up a small buck.
No, absolutely. They should let the kids shoot whatever's legal.
Yeah.
Get them hooked on it.
Yeah, the kids ought to be able to shoot does. There's enough does around everywhere. They ought to be able to. All the kids ought to be able to shoot a doe, But
yep. You got any questions this week?
Oh, it's funny you should ask.
Not funny. It's in the script right here.
There's no script.
All I have to do is punch it up in my computer.
Yeah, Mr. Techie over here.
Can we talk about snowmobiling while he's doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
What do you got going on?
Nothing. I just want to know if we were allowed to talk about snowmobiling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I think I am going to get on the road of the snow bike.
I'm telling you, they're fun. They're fun to ride. They're
easy. If you let me come over and ride with your group when you guys go out.
For an old guy like you, you'd love it.
Yeah.
Why don't you come to Canada with me? I mean, that's just like extreme. You know what I mean? That's like, I rode out west. I rode a lot of places. I rode here. I love riding this area. But up there, it takes you another whole level. Like if you can go to that Chick-Chock area and ride well and not be stuck all day, you can ride anywhere.
Well, like I've said in the past, wintertime for me is tough.
Well, it's because you make it tough. You're so miserable, nobody wants to work for you. And you can't hire no help. Poor Jess over there is just like, I don't know what you've done to that poor girl to get her to stick
She
around.
hates me. Yeah. I can't believe anyone would stick around. It's a hostile work environment. I yell and scream all day long.
Oh.
I'm like, horrible boss. That's me.
All right.
Back deer hunting.
You want to hear a question?
Only a good one.
That's all.
They're
That's
all
all we
good.
field.
They're all good.
Okay.
Some are just better than others. Okay.
So, guys, what do you think about antler point restrictions and Sunday hunting?
We won't have any of those questions.
Okay.
I've got them screened out. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Got a question from a Scott Gaillard. Now, he's coming to the clinic, and he's coming hunting with us this fall. He's from New Hampshire.
Who's guiding Scott?
New Boston, New Hampshire. I'd have to get into my folder to look. I can't remember off the top of my head. Obviously not either one of you guys.
Lee. Good day, mate.
Good eye, mate.
I'd like to hear all of you guys' recommendations for vehicles to get you to the track and back. While we're waiting for Chrysler to do a special run of the Ram Charger in a Hal Blood Special Edition.
Oh, now I know why he picked this question. It's obvious, isn't it, Lee? Jesus Christ.
Somebody pat my back.
Yeah.
Somebody pat my back.
Hey, I'm just reading it.
Look, I'm Hal Blood. I've got a Dodge named after me. I was squozing off the trigger, and we was gomming around there in the woods, and I went back to my special edition Dodge there.
You done?
Yep.
Okay. I got to finish this question. Okay. Let us know your thoughts on what vehicles have the reliability, off-road capability, and deer hauling capacity a deer tracker needs.
This is a trick
As
question.
well as what tools and safety gear you carry in yours. I'm curious about the height and tires of off-road suspension goodies, Jeeps, SUVs, pickups, gas versus diesel, anything else you think worthy of consideration. And while you're at it, why not use a cargo carrier, something easier to get your deer onto than having it lifted up on the hood?
Because
That seems
no
like
one
a
can
big
see
challenge.
Yeah.
Thanks for the great podcast and website.
I'm sorry, but I'm too homophobic for a cargo carrier.
I actually
No.
What was
Gotta
this
do
gentleman's name again, Hal?
Scott. He's coming
Scott.
up. He's coming up.
Scott, take no offense to Lee's comments
No,
because we don't like him either.
It's true.
No, not the cargo carriers, Lee. We don't like Lee.
Okay. First thing I'm going to address is the cargo carrier. Because I got some real world experience with that on my Ram Charger.
Yep.
But for bear hunting. So I built one and for my Ram Charger because I used to put them in the back. So I built this. I thought it was going to be the greatest thing. And then I built a plywood box so you could put them right in the box. But you go down about 20 miles of gravel road in the dust, and
Everything back there looks like the gravel road.
everything looks like the gravel. We ended up having to put the bear, like wrap them up in a tarp to put them in there because, and then the dust still gets in.
Same in the wintertime. That snow blows back there and creates a great big icicle, and you can't get your stuff out of there.
Yeah, no. So that's the reason this cargo carrier is not the best idea.
Why don't you tell the real reason, Hal? You just want the big buck on your hood.
On the hood.
I mean,
I was actually disappointed this year when I shot old Brutus. I had the power wagon because I had the drive shaft fell out of the Gray Ghost the week before. And I also had it because we had so much snow. I had the snowmobile in the back. But I was thinking about putting Brutus on the hood of the power wagon.
well, you had the sled in the back, so it would have been, you could have got away with your excuse of why you did it.
I should have done it, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Shoulda.
Yeah.
Shoulda,
Yeah,
woulda,
next
coulda.
year. There's always next year.
Probably got a hyena putting it up there, but
Yeah. So Scott, this can be a short answer to the question is, we just should have a ram charger. Everybody should go get one because there is nothing better.
I think he actually had some in a Hal Blood edition.
Yeah.
So, and we got to touch on we should have on the last one, the outdoor life story, because
Hey, that's for a little later.
you didn't forget about that? Okay. Superstar Hal
yeah.
Blood. So legendary. So his questions about lift kit and everything. I've go with a 4-inch lift on my truck. I've got a 2500 Dodge with 35s and
Big diesel.
diesel. Yeah. Big heavy diesel.
Dodge, though.
Heavy. Yeah. So the only problem I've ever had with my truck is wearing out front end parts. I've got 225,000 on it now. And it's just a lot of running down dirt roads, and wearing things out. So
I like the diesels, but I've been in the woods before when it was wicked cold and they didn't want to start.
Yeah.
I've also drove into little wet holes that I know I could drive through with a gas job and been right to my axles.
Yeah, they're heavy, especially
heavy,
in the front end.
But I like that big crew cab. My most important tool that I run in my truck is tires. Good tires. You won't catch me I'll get rid of a set of tires before even if they're marginal, not running them. Every fall I like to have good rubber.
Yokohama Geolander MT, the right tire for you. Okay,
I can't advertise for them yet. They haven't given me a pair. So.
The other part that I love about my truck.
Woody's working on.
Okay.
The other part I love about my truck is the ram boxes, which I think is the greatest invention for pickup trucks in recent history. It is the best, man, because everything is right there, and mine are loaded to the hilt. I mean, I keep tire chains in there during deer season. I've got
Tools.
Tools. I've got an impact in there for doing my tires. I got jacks, chain, plug kit. What else do I have in there? I've got those traction aids that you can throw behind a tire and drive over them.
Little compressor.
Ratchet straps. I've got a compressor.
Pump your tire up when you put your plugs in.
Yep, I've got one of those, which this little handy item, it's amazing how good they are, is one of those little small battery packs, jumper packs. Mm-hmm. It's like the size of, say, 4 cell phones or something. Yeah. They're not big at all. Little tiny thing, and they will jump a truck in a second. It's amazing the power they have. So that's become like a must-have for me.
Tow strap.
Yep.
Because you're going to run into somebody that needs a tow out.
Mm. Yeah, and I used, I crossed something I shouldn't have crossed and ended up breaking my front drive shaft. Well, it broke the yokes going to
one of them
the transfer case.
Lee, one of them places I said you shouldn't go through that place where the 2 culverts are out.
Yeah.
But he had to go.
Yeah. Well, there was no tracks on the other side, Hal. It was all fresh snow. What are you going to do?
I did that with a client in a truck once, and they told on me. I got halfway across this 3-foot beaver dam, and my truck broke through. That guy was so upset he told Hal that night. This guy's crazy.
No one likes a snitch.
No. Stitches for snitches.
That was the week that it was muzzleloader week, and I had the guy with the camera with me, and he documented everything. So instead of doing a deer hunting video, we're going to do a truck broke down, how you get out of the woods video.
Yep.
So I had to. It was a good thing I had everything that I had, because I ended up using the traction aids along with tire chains on the back, because now I've lost my front drive shaft and I'm in a washout. I ended up, I had bungee cords with me, and I had to use those to fasten something so that the spline from the front drive shaft wasn't bouncing around, and it was kind of a mess. But when you have everything with you, it's kind of nice. Little jack.
Well, it's just a feeling of comfort, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that you're coming home. And I like the fact that I'm coming home.
Yeah.
I've spent the night in the woods before, and it sucks. We can all fantasize about it, and camping is camping. Yeah. But spending the night in the woods is not camping.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing is a high lift jack is a really good tool to have. Yeah. If you got a winch, it's one thing, but if you don't have a winch, a high lift jack is a must. Yeah. You drop a tire, you drop a tire in a hole somewhere you can't get out of, but a high lift jack If you got a 4-footer, it's going to...
High lift jack and a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Chainsaw's another good one.
Definitely.
Got to have a chainsaw in there.
I was driving down a road in a blinding snowstorm one time with Kev, and it was snowing so hard you knew you weren't going to find a deer track unless one just went across in the 15 minutes, So we drove down this old road, turned around at the end. There actually was a deer track in the end. It looked like a spike horn out wandering around. Yeah. Turned around and drove right back out the same way, and my front end dropped right down dead X underneath on the front. I'm like, how could that happen? I just drove there. Well, evidently driving in, it must have just held enough where I got by it, and when I come back out, it was the end of a culvert was washed out. Couldn't see nothing there and dropped right down. I mean, there was nothing touching. Got the high lift jack out and jacked it up high enough to get it up level again. Probably 2 feet, had to lift the front end 2 feet up. We stuffed a bunch of rocks, I think, and wood or whatever we had there underneath, set it back down on that, and just drove off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an important part. And a lot of guys, they just go out, and if they make it, they make it, and if they don't, they don't. But I'm big on being prepared out there, especially when you're way up north, up in the North Maine woods,
yeah.
moose season, all that. And there's a lot of rigs. I mean, we joke about the Dodge, and we all like Dodge, but any decent 4-wheel drive truck is going to do the job. And
Seen that new Ford Bronco coming out?
Yeah,
That's a sharp rig.
Yeah, and they got a new Ram Charger coming too. You see
Really?
that?
yeah, that looked pretty slick, all modernized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like $70,000 or something like that. It's crazy.
We'll let Lee get that one.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I drove an $80,000 Dodge pickup truck this last weekend, and I wouldn't have traded my 2012 Ford for it. No way.
Yeah, they wouldn't have traded.
ton.
They wouldn't have traded you either.
No.
Yeah.
3/4 ton airbags. That thing was so stiff. Whoa.
Oh yeah, they are a stiff ride. The Dodges, I will say,
It's a real truck.
Real truck. Yep.
Mine will
I didn't
rattle
need a
your
real
teeth
truck.
out.
I only needed a half a truck.
So you need the half ton.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
It was nice. Had everything.
Well, just in the last month, Eric's traded his Toyota for a Power Wagon.
It's beautiful too. That's a good looking truck.
And then Joel is trading his Toyota in on a 3/4 ton. He was going to get a Power Wagon too, but he wants to plow with it, and they won't warranty it because it's got a different suspension in the winch or something. So he's buying a 3/4 ton Laramie or something there with all the bells and whistles, trading his Toyota in. So
Yeah, I've definitely switched over. Once I got this Dodge, I've become a fan. I like him as a truck. And the one thing I do, and you mentioned it a second ago, was the winch. I've got a portable one that goes in my Reese hitch, but I would like to get one in the bumper in the front like you've got, so it's always there.
yeah, it's pretty handy. Well, you can put it right in there.
Yeah, I know.
Same one,
Yeah.
fit right in, or any of them.
Yeah.
Some of the guys take a winch, and there's a bracket you can buy for it that goes in a Reese hitch, and then they put a Reese receiver in that spot in the bumper. That's
what I've got.
In the front bumper?
No, well, I built one that bolts on. It's a receiver that I made that bolts onto my plow frame.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
There's a way to do it. I know Tenny Coleman did a couple of pickups. He did his. He did one for Tommy and built it so it comes right through the bumper.
Okay.
And he built a bracket that hooks to the framework in there. So you can, and then run a wire to the front and just stick it in the Reese, plug it in, and you got one front or back.
Yep. Yep.
I always figured it's better to have one in the front because that's where you want to go.
I guess.
Yeah. As long as you're not out in the middle of a cut and there's no trees around.
Still gonna get turned around, come back.
Well, it's funny you say that because the spot that I went into that I had the trouble, I didn't have my winch with me that day, and had I had it, all I had to do was slide it in the back receiver.
Yeah.
And I've got my I'll tell you something that I use. This is a nice little trick, a nice little accessory too, is I've got a pigtail that comes off my battery it's wired directly to the battery, and it's got the plug-in like a winch plug.
Yeah.
And I've got a set of jumper cables that slides into that. So if you have to jump someone, you don't have to put clamps on your battery. You just slide in that receiver. It's like a winch receiver. It's plug in and go. The other side of it is when you got to use the winch on the back of the truck, you plug that part into the winch that usually goes to the battery. You take your clamps now and you put those on the battery. Now you got a winch on the back of the truck.
Oh, yeah.
And it works well.
Yeah. MacGyver.
So just a...
MacGyver.
Yeah.
Those are the little tricks that Scott wants to hear about, okay?
Yep.
I'm just trying to satisfy the listeners.
Yep.
What do you got? Any more questions? Good question,
really
Scott.
answer his question?
I think we did.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. And for everyone out there is going to be a special edition Hal Blood Dodge Power Wagon Ram Charger special.
Hey, folks. Hal here. Hey, want to talk about the biggest challenge people have in the woods, especially the big woods trying to hunt, is navigation. It's the number one, and it's the key to be able to hunt successfully in the big woods. And a compass, of course, you got to have a compass, but maps to go along with your compass is really going to be a key. You know, they're going to show you a lot of things like your terrain features and all that, and also the old trails, logging roads, etc. And I think the way to get these is with Onyx. They've got a great mapping software, and you can download it into your phone as an app, or you can get an SD chip to put into your GPS. They fit most any modern GPS, and that'll cover. You can get them. You can get a chip for any state, or you can when you download the app, what you can do is download, topographical, but also satellite imagery. And that's the one I use the most, because the satellite imagery tells me I can see what kind of trees, if it's softwood trees, hardwood trees, and you can also see logging, different types of cuts. It might be a clear cut or whatever. Very, very helpful for hunting, whether it's deer, moose, or anything you're hunting. But what I like about it is when you're hunting in remote areas, you don't have cell service, so you're basically offline. But if you download ahead of time a certain area, the area you're going to hunt, download it into your phone, and you can bring it up, and it'll show you right where you are, and you can kind of keep track of your positions and all of that. Anyways, excited to tell you about a partnership we formed with Onyx. So go to onyx.com, and we got you a 20% discount. You punch in the promo code BWB, and you're going to get 20% off on your Onyx. All right? Get down there and get those apps downloaded and get your chips for your GPS and get ready to hunt. Hey, Hal here. Just want to take a minute to talk about the Hunting Club. And you can join by going right online at bigwoodsbucks.com. But anyways, I've got all my information is going in there, and it's a place where you can get together and look at my films, tips, writings, and all of that. And the best part is forums for you to communicate with, the rest of the club members, talk about big wood stuff and all of that. So anyways, $36 a year, cheaper than getting a Starbucks once a day. So join up, and hope you see you're on there.
Quiet on set.
They going to give us one of those?
I don't know. We'll let Chris work on that. You didn't get the tires yet, Lee, but you're getting the first truck.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be like, I wouldn't trade my Ford for this for nothing.
Okay, I got a good one here. Here's a question from Jessica Martin from Rangeley. Okay, Hal, when choosing the location to record the podcast each week, do you take door size into account? I'm wondering how you go about getting Lee's head through the door.
I knew that was coming.
Thank you, Jessica. You're my favorite.
Just another
favorite
Rangeley
listener.
hunter.
Oh, Jessica, for that, you're going to get a free Big Woods Bucks membership. That's a good one.
Oh,
She must have seen me running around town with a wheelbarrow carrying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No comment there.
Okay. Here's another one from David Blankenship from Morrisville, New York.
Are we going to address the last question?
I think it was just a comment.
Oh, okay.
It was in the comment
Okay.
section.
I had to read it, though.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Jess.
Hello, Hal, and the rest of the Big Woods Bucks team. My question, even though bucks in the Big Woods have miles and miles to roam, do you find through your experience that these bucks have a core area in which they spend the majority of their time outside of the rut. I enjoy the podcasts, especially the humor. Dave. What humor?
You can thank Jessica for that.
Yeah.
About time. Usually everybody's picking on me.
Yeah. Well,
Why is
I think
everybody
we all
always
get our
picking
own.
on me?
Yep.
Joe doesn't get picked on because he's 6'4" and he looks like a
Sasquatch.
jolly,
Yeah, I'm the
Sasquatch,
easiest target,
jolly green
too.
Giant.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? Do they have a core area they spend their time in the rut?
Outside the rut, I think. it's,
Outside the rut, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
That's how they get big.
The core area might be 10 square miles, but they stay in it.
No, I don't know. I mean, I don't think a buck travels that much when he's in the summertime.
I don't either.
You know?
Yeah, they don't. I think, and I think it's almost like the other animals too. I noticed it with the bear and stuff, deer, moose, everything. They seem to have places they want to be certain times of the year. You know, it's kind of crazy, but that's what they do. Those bucks, they're like bacheloring it all summer and stuff, winter and summer, and they seem to want to not travel too much in the summer, but they will. I've seen where they'll go around and check signposts and stuff. You know, they'll go little walkabouts, but their main goal in the summer is just to be fat and happy and eat. So if they find some old cut there that is good food, I don't think they go too awfully far. But even before the rut, I always said, we've talked about it before, it seems like as soon as the leaves fall is when it changes for them. They get kind of nervous because the wood seems to be a little more open, and that's when they start to get out of that summer territory and maybe move back into the top of a mountain somewhere or back in some old swamp or whatever. But
it would be really interesting for the state to radio collar some bucks. All the radio collaring they do is always does.
yeah,
And I think that, I guess depending on what they're looking to extrapolate from it, it would be interesting to see bucks travel routes, a lot more so than a doe.
oh yeah,
And
probably.
you know, it's interesting. I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, for all the radio collaring they do, you think doing a few bucks wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, you'd think they'd do some, but
Maybe you need to call someone in the state.
yeah, see what happens.
Use
Talk
that
to-
power and influence.
Talk to our new
Do you know who you're
biologist.
talking to?
Do you know who I am?
You know who I am. That's Hal Blood.
I'm Hal Blood.
That guy is part deer.
Yeah, who was that? Oh, Jerry. Yeah, we hunted last fall, Jerry. Yeah, that was funny.
Next question.
Part deer.
All right, so I think we answered that all right. Okay, this is from Tim Price of Bloomsburg, PA. Hey, Big Woods team. Love the podcast. Keep them coming. The way you bust each other's chops reminds me of my hunting crew and one of the reasons I love the sport. My question regards to tracking or still hunting in subpar conditions, specifically crunching leaves and snow would be fit in the category. We only have a week a year in Jackman. Oh, he hunts up there. All right. And it's always the week before Thanksgiving. Today we were in an area was loaded with sign and multiple bucks and doe, but then still wind and crunchy snow would make it nearly impossible to be stealthy. No kidding. I was with you there this fall. Third week was terrible. A Maine guide a bunch of years ago came to PA and did a seminar, and he loosely quoted as saying, if you can't be quiet, own it, but walk in cadence with deer stride and step. Step, pause, cadence. Don't change the frequency steps. Every fourth step, pause. Now, I don't know where that comes from, but do you guys have certain...
No, it's clearly every fifth step.
Yeah.
That guy who told you that's got it all wrong. It's every
Yeah.
fifth step.
Well, that's what he wants to know. Do you have a special cadence? Anybody that ever tells you you got to do something the same way all the time like that, or the deer do certain things all the time, that's when I quit listening, because there's nothing that's always the same all the time. So to me, I think the guy was saying that a deer walks 4 steps and stops, so you got to do the same thing, which is crap.
Can you get your money back for the seminar?
I do agree with trying to walk more like a deer, walk
yeah.
and stop. I mean, I do think that can be effective.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never shot one like that on loud, but I've heard enough guys that have, that they're curious. Grunt calls and stuff are good
Yeah.
to use then.
You have to sound like another deer. That's the only thing you can do in the crunchiness. You're not gonna sneak up on them unless you got some wind. If you have some wind, I've done it before. I remember walking up on one making a scrape once. I was guiding some hunters, but I was just out ramming around, and it was a bad crust, and it was windy, and it started blowing a little snow around, and I actually was walking on my tiptoes in this buck's track. And I went along, and I peeked up over a little knoll there, and he's making a scrape 30, 40 yards away. Never heard me or nothing because of the wind. But I was taking just easy steps in it and stuff. But, yeah, so you got to walk like a deer. If you win, you're lucky. But on a still day, they're going to hear you no matter what. There's no sense of trying to sneak because you sound like a predator, right? But the cadence doesn't have to be a certain steps. It just has to be the cadence of how a deer walks. They kind of walk quickly and stop. I don't care if it's 3 steps, 2 steps, 5 steps, 8 steps. Walk and pause.
Yeah, and it's something that I've started doing that I really took from moose hunting, because we do it all the time with moose hunting, trying to walk through the woods and sound like a bull, is doing the same thing with a grunt call. Is just, a buck will run through the woods, or walk, run, whatever, and they're grunting all the time. So I don't see any reason why not to do that same thing. If you're walking and crunching and blowing the grunt while you're going, it's at least going to maybe give you a chance.
Yeah, got to sound like a deer. The bottom line is sound like a deer, and you got to work with your conditions. If you got 1 week to hunt, you got to hunt the conditions. That's it.
On the third week, like when you're talking about, that's also a good time to find a good spot and sit. If you're not liking the noise and everything, it's a great time to sit and just kill one sitting.
Yeah, get around with us. Some bunch of does and bucks are going to be coming and going in there. All right.
So can we title this one 5 Steps and Stop?
Yeah.
5 steps and stop.
Yeah.
Call it what you want.
All right.
Oh, I forgot. What was the one thing you said we got to get back to?
The outdoor life.
Yeah, the outdoor life.
Oh, yeah. If anybody hasn't read it yet, one of the editors for Outdoor Life wrote an article. He wanted to interview me and write an article. So it's in I think it's this December issue of Outdoor Life magazine there. There's a link to it we put it on the Facebook page. I'm sure Chris will get it on the website too. Probably he'll put the whole article on the website. But
so I thought about, when I saw that, I don't know if you recall or not, when you were talking about your third book, I told you and Chris I thought it'd be a good idea to name it Spillin' Blood, which is you guys thought was too gory or something. I don't know. I thought it was kind of clever. But anyway, so it's Blood on the Snow, which is kind of a good article.
That's the name of the article, Blood on the Snow. Or in the snow. On the snow?
On the snow, in the
Something
snow.
like that.
Blood on the Snow.
And then there was another, they asked me to write an article, I think 2 months before, I wrote it on Signpost, and I think that's in there. I think that's on their online magazine. And then, the other announcement I was going to make was newest team member, Rick Labby. So you've heard Rick on here a couple times, and he was kind of quizzing around about it being a team member, so I thought he'd be a good choice. So
great choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome, Rick.
Yep, so you'll see a little more Rick around. Right now, unlike us, he's deer hunting in Arizona.
Yeah.
He just come back from Ohio. Now he's in Arizona. He said he hadn't bow hunted for 4 or 5 years, so
Is he bow hunting?
he's bow hunting in Arizona.
No kidding. All right.
I think mule deer.
Yeah, mule deer.
Awesome.
He went to Ohio last week, and he hunted 3 days out there and never saw a buck. He said it looks like they're pretty well over-hunted out there. So
yeah, Rick brings a wealth of knowledge along. He's got all the years up here, extremely successful.
Yeah.
Knows how to kill big bucks, and
Good hunter.
yeah, loves passing along information, loves helping other hunters get started.
Yeah.
Just to, I think, be a real asset.
He's got a
Big Woods
couple.
bucks.
He wrote an article. What's that magazine? Northeast?
North American Whitetail, I think.
Yep.
Is that what it was?
Well, that was one of them. There was another one. I think it came out North American Whitetail.
He wrote an article, and then Dave Willett published it in North American Whitetail. And then I think this one's in Northeast Big Buck or something.
Maybe,
or
yeah.
something, another magazine. He just had one. It's on the Facebook page anyways, or his or something. But
Yeah.
It was that one he titled, "Is Rick Labby the best deer hunter in America?" or something. I think it's a throwback from when somebody, Peter Miller, wrote that about Larry Benoit back, I don't know, 40 years ago or something, back in the 70s.
You could never say who's the best, but you could just say they're really good.
Yeah.
No such thing as the best. I've always said that. People would ask me years ago, who's better, the Benoits or you? I'm like, nobody's better. You know what I mean? Everybody hunts, does their own thing. It ain't a competition.
It's not a competition.
You're against the deer, and
it's a good point. We talk about it a lot. The competition is between you and the animal.
Yeah,
it's not between you and other hunters. And I think people
they get too
look
wound
at it
up
like
in
that.
It. Sometimes
who's better than who, and
sometimes things roll your way. It's like anything else. You get a little luck rolling your way, and you'll have a couple of years you do pretty good right off, and you have a year nothing seems to go right.
Or three,
yeah. Nothing seems to roll right. That's all.
Yeah.
I struggled the most this year as I can remember. I can't remember struggling as much as I did this year.
Yeah.
Because I set my sights a little higher, but still, I never been on so many of them chases that I couldn't catch up to a buck on. It was just crazy.
Well, I think
I must be.
I honestly think that's good though, Hal, because people see that and they say, "Geez, even Hal has a hard time." It was.
Oh yeah.
If everyone could see you coming back to the lodge every night after hunting, you weren't happy.
I was hurting.
And but in the end, you got it done. But it's it's. I look at it like anything in life. There's always someone better out there.
Oh,
no matter what it is you do, there's guys, and how do you gauge it anyway? It's not, I'll say Rick's a great hunter and outdoorsman, and that's where you try to get whatever knowledge you can from someone like that and move on.
Yep. You can learn something from everybody. You know what I mean? You can't just hinge on what one person says, and you just take it all in and try to figure out what's going to work best for you, Sometimes you pick a little tidbit here and there, and something works sometimes and don't work other times.
Rick taking any hunters next fall?
Yes, he is.
All right.
He's going to guide a deer hunter this fall.
Lucky hunter.
I got to look. Yeah, he said the first week he wanted to hunt because he's got another trip planned with his father. They're going to go back to Saskatchewan.
So you don't have anyone lined up for him yet?
I haven't really assigned guides that first week. I've got a couple more openings, so probably if somebody's listening, I could probably get him in there with Rick if they want to do it. So, yeah, he's going to guide a week.
Yeah, good.
He's going to guide that week and then go to Saskatchewan the middle of the month or something with his dad. They haven't been for a few years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Excellent. So, as always, like us on iTunes.
Is it that time already?
Yeah, it is. It flies by, doesn't it?
Don't forget, if you sign up for the Onyx, if you subscribe to that, use the Big Woods Bucks promo code, right?
BWB for a 20% discount.
Yep.
And it lets them know that you heard about it here and helps us out.
We're doing our job.
Yeah.
Because I really don't want to pay for mine. So get on there and get it now.
I don't know. Only Lee could put it that way, huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure busting your guys' balls today.
Yeah.
As usual.
Well, now we all know that Hal has new black underwear.
Yeah.
That was that last one or this one?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to
My honey got
that was last one.
My honey got them for me for Christmas, my new black underwear.
Nice.
And socks, too. I got some new socks. My other ones, the heels, you could see my feet right through the heels.
We're all better off now having this information.
No,
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you share a room with me. And
That's right.
And I got to do my stretches.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm back on that again.
It's special. Really is special.
Well, I want to congratulate Jessica because I did appreciate her comment for this week.
Oh, yeah. Great job, Jessica.
Yeah, she's spot on with that.
Yep.
I honestly don't know how Lee gets around town. But he manages somehow.
No.
He's the big dog in the snowmobile club doing his fancy trail reports and everything.
I must give off that air because I don't feel that way inside.
Well, that's usually what happens with people with huge egos is they don't think that they're doing that.
Oh, I told you that psychology class you took in 8th grade is not going to work on me.
That's as far as I made it. So that was kind of my senior year. All right.
All right. Well, yeah, get on there on the iTunes and all of that. And give us a review and a rating, and look us up on Facebook if you haven't already. Join the hunting club. Going to be a lot more content on that coming up. I'm getting some stuff reviewed. Oh, you know what I just got? I just got new stickers made up. The other ones were kind of dated, but I got some new stickers made up. Decals, I guess. I call them stickers, but they tell me they're decals for your truck or whatever else. So we'll be sending them out to all the hunt club members. They're going to get their Big Woods Bucks club member decal, proudly display on the truck. Might even give one to Lee for his truck.
Which design did you go with? Which logo? He knows this
logo.
cold.
What do you mean? Which design?
Like what's on your hat?
Yeah. Except there's no orange in it. It's white, green, the green checkered, I think, in the deer track, and it's a white decal with it's oval shaped.
Yep.
You'll see it when you get one.
Okay. Oh, I get one?
You member the club? You are, because you got access to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I joined.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Till next time, good luck on the trail.